Hey guys, here with another concert review. Last Saturday night, I got to see Dying Fetus on a headlining stop on their way to the Summer Slaughter tour. I've seen Dying Fetus a couple times before. They're actually my second ever heavy metal concert with Cannibal Corpse and Necrophagist way back in 2006. But this is the first time I've ever seen them headline, so I was really stoked for that they decided to stop here. When I saw them a couple years ago on the Metal Alliance tour, they blew me away. It was one of my favorite performances of the year. So this was at the Aftershock in Merriam, Kansas, which is it's like a medium-sized venue. It can hold, I don't know, if you pack it full, maybe like 800 people, something like that. It's just like a little bar and grill, but they clear out spaces for concerts. They've been getting some pretty good concerts there lately. It's where I saw Goathorn 1349 and other bands I've seen there, St. Vitus, Origin, Exhumed, stuff like that. So hopefully that's going to be kind of the new Kansas City mid-range venue destination. This show was a Dying Fetus show, and then there was another show that they decided to combine together. So opening the show was a local band called White Shores. A local band. I've never seen them before or anything, so I'm gonna go up front. I'm gonna support them because I like supporting local music no matter what. So luckily they had an okay number of people that are kind of checking them out. They're really kind of like the odd man out with the Dying Fetus bill. They're kind of like a more modern, maybe like gentish, progressive-ish, deathcore, metalcore kind of thing. I mean, really, it's like when you look at Sumerian Records and what they're putting out, like I think that's obviously like what White Shore's biggest influences are, those kind of bands. They remind me a lot of and I mean, I'm not a huge fan of these bands, so I might be way off the mark, but it reminded me of Periphery or Vildhjarta. I don't know, all these Sumerian bands, stuff like that. And they actually put on a pretty good performance. For that style of music, they did it really well. They're really tight. Their vocalist actually got down into the crowd and was singing to them and all that stuff. A lot of good energy from them. So even though really they weren't supposed to open up for the Dying Fetus show, they did an admirable job. So yeah, not really my thing, but I definitely wouldn't mind seeing them again. Maybe with a longer set, they pull out some stuff, and yeah, I might check them out some more. After that were two bands I'm not even going to mention that were touring bands for the other tour that got added, because they were literally probably the two worst bands I've ever seen in my life, and I just don't want to think about them anymore. So let's go ahead and skip forward to the Dying Fetus part of the show. So first up on that bill was local band Obliterate The Apex. I'd seen them, I think, once before, but it's been a while since I've checked them out again. Man, they really brought it this time. They're kind of like, old school death thrash. Just really good. They have the twin guitars that sometimes they do solos together and stuff. Super, super heavy, and the crowd was going ballistic for them. Yeah, just really good stuff. They reminded me almost of I don't know, Older Death, stuff like that. Maybe even Benediction, some stuff like that. Really good stuff. And I've seen they're going to be opening a bunch more shows coming up, which I'm definitely glad for that. After them was Torn the Fuck Apart, who has been just going up and up and up for the past couple months, which is great. They're one of my favorite local bands. Their newer stuff is just as heavy and brutal as anything they've ever done, so that's great. I mean, it's just this crazy combination of frenzied, frantic, grindcore, and then slow and brutal, groovy death metal. It's just perfect. They brought up Jeff from Troglodyte to do a couple of songs off their newest album. Just all around great stuff. And then Dying Fetus came on. You know, they came out with really no fanfare and just went right into it. They played a pretty good length set. I think it was 13 songs. They really hit really all points of their discography. Like they opened with One Shot, One Kill, which was great. One of my favorite albums of all time is God, I always get it wrong. I know I'm saying it's my favorite album of all time, or one of my favorite albums of all time, but I know it's Killing on Adrenaline. I'm just gonna double check that's what that is. I'm so dumb. Yeah, Killing on Adrenaline. So they only did one song off that. Well, I don't really count Kill Your Mother, Rape Your Dog as like a full song, because like they always play that. I wish they would have played a couple more from that, but it's cool. We got like Born in Sodom, which was great. Pissing in the Mainstream, which is great. And then like their newer stuff, like In the Trenches might be like the heaviest song they played that night, which was dumb how heavy it was. But yeah, they sounded great. The Aftershock has been killing it recently with how they've been mixing the shows, because usually when bands are like really technical but also like really loud and heavy, you got to sacrifice some sort of the sound to make it all like manageable. But it sounded great to me, and I was up really close, so that was awesome. The crowd was going absolutely nuts their entire set. There's a huge circle pit that started on the first song, kept going. There's even like a couple crowd surfers, and there's like a barrier on stage. Like there was no one catching crowd surfing; they just crowd surfed over. Like that was pretty cool. Lots of moshing, really cool stuff. Yeah, like I said, Dying Fetus, for the thing they do, I think they do it better than most other bands. Definitely one of the best sets I've seen in Kansas City this year so far. Hopefully it stays that way, because Dying Fetus is at the top of their game. I'm really happy with their placement on Summer Slaughter this year. If I remember correctly, I think it's Morbid Angel headlining, and then right underneath them is Dying Fetus, which is perfect to me. Yeah, they should keep going up and up. They deserve it. Great band, great performance, one of the best I've seen this year so far. Alright, that should do it for me. I'll be back soon with more show reviews.